Hello, Dave here, and welcome to Quiz Time. We're so happy you're here, and we're going to take you back all the way to the 1950s. So how well do you know the 50s? Well, we're about to find out. Let's see. Which of the following major events doesn't link to the 1950s? Roe versus Wade, the beginning of the Cold War, or the Korean War? Roe versus Wade. The 1950s were marked by the Red Scare, especially with whose rise? Willis Smith, Richard Nixon, or Joseph McCarthy? Joseph McCarthy. When did the U.S. test the first hydrogen bomb? November 1st, 1952, August 12th, 1953, or May 22nd, 1957? November 1st, 1952. The 1950s witnessed the world's first artificial satellite that was launched by which country? The Soviet Union, the US, or China? The Soviet Union. Which of the following jet aircraft operated from the 1950s and was nicknamed Dragon Lady? Grumman F-9, Lockheed U-2, or Douglas F-4D? Lockheed U-2. Who is the singer who was nicknamed Queen of Rockabilly thanks to her series of 1950 singles? Brenda Lee, Wanda Jackson, or Billie Holiday? Wanda Jackson. Who was the U.S. president at the beginning of the 1950s? Harry S. Truman, Dwight D. Eisenhower, or Franklin D. Roosevelt? Harry S. Truman. Who patented the principle of integration, creating the first prototype ICs and commercializing them in 1958? Robert Noyce, Jack Kilby, or Edward Kionjian? Jack Kilby. When did the U.S. Supreme Court release the decision resulting from the case Brown v. Board of Education of Topeka? 1956, 1952, or 1954? 1954. What was the name of the military alliance that was formed in 1955 by the Soviet Union and several other communist countries and was dissolved in 1991? The Warsaw Pact, the Keflavik Agreement, or the Treaty of Gorlzalek? The Warsaw Pact. Who was the lead singer of the rock and roll group that had a hit in 1954 with the song Rock Around the Clock? John Lennon, Roy Orbison, or Bill Haley? Bill Haley. In which 1955 film did James Dean character Jim Stark help to popularize jeans as a symbol of teenage rebellion and angst? East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause, or The Disaster Artist? Rebel Without a Cause. Dacron became widely used in the 1950s to make what? Furniture, shoes, or clothes? Clothes. True or false? The 1950s saw a significant increase in the birth rate in the United States, leading to the so-called baby boomers generation. That's true. Which American R&B group sang Mr. Lee? The Ponytails, the Bobettes, or the Drifters? The Bobettes. Who was the U.S. president who signed the Civil Rights Act of 1957, the first federal civil rights legislation since Reconstruction? John F. Kennedy, Harry S. Truman, or Dwight D. Eisenhower? Dwight D. Eisenhower. Who played the role of Johnny Strabler in the 1953 movie The Wild One? J.C. Flippin, Marlon Brando, or Robert Osterloh? Marlon Brando. When was Vietnam divided between North and South? 1954, 1951, or 1956? 1954. Who founded the Motown record label? Berry Gordy Jr., Jimmy Levine, or Edward D. Easton? Berry Gordy Jr. Who was the U.S. Vice President under President Harry S. Truman from 1949 to 1953? Dwight D. Eisenhower, Alvin William Barkley, or Henry Agard Wallace? Alvin William Barkley. For which invention did John Bardeen, Walter Brattain, and William Shockley receive the 1956 Nobel Prize in Physics? The transistor. When did Che Guevara join Fidel Castro's revolutionary forces? 1959, 1955, or 1957? 1955. True or false, the Treaty of Taipei was signed in 1952 between the Republic of China and North Korea? That's false. It was Japan. Who was the U.S. Secretary of State who proposed the New Look foreign policy during the Eisenhower administration? Dean Gooderham Achizan, Christian Archibald Herter, or John Foster Dulles? John Foster Dulles. When was streptomycin, the first effective cure for tuberculosis, discovered? 1959, 1955, or 1952? 1952. Who is the author of the 1951 novel The Catcher in the Rye? Jack Kerouac, J.D. Salinger, or Claude Brown? J.D. Salinger. Which of the following was not established in the 50s? WHO, NASA, or EEC? The WHO, World Health Organization. Who was nicknamed King of the Blues and sang Sweet Little Angel in 1957? John Lee Hooker, Riley B. King, or Mississippi John Hurt? Riley B. King. True or false? Gary Snyder was part of the Beat generation that originated in the 1950s. That's true. When did the Suez Crisis happen? 1956, 1952, or 1954? 1956. All right, that was our last question. How well did you know the 50s? Go ahead and add up your score. Put them in the comments below. Let us know how well you did. And we're going to see you again on quiz time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.